Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be taking out a scenario if the British Raj returned in the modern day. Hey, I just want to thank Parker Games and Jaws for basically all the designs. I kind of just copied his designs, but hope no hard feelings. But yeah, bye-bye. Oh yeah, also thank you guys all for more than 100 subscribers. I really appreciate it. We can check out some war scenarios. Here's the thing. Nepal and Bhutan were not really a part of the British Raj, but I kind of just included the Indian subcontinent as it, like including Sri Lanka. So it was really just Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, Myanmar, whatever. These were really, but I decided to add these two because it gives a bigger border with China, and I think that would just make the scenario way more interesting. If I sound different, it's because my allergies are like killing me. So if that bothers you, then that's kind of your problem. But I can tell why you guys are all here. You guys aren't here for a history lesson. You guys are here for wars. What the fuck is that? But yeah, you guys are here for wars. You guys are here to see what the British Raj can do. And yeah, so let's stop wasting time and let's actually see what a war would look like. So, first off, this is all mountains. Pretty much all of this is just mountains, so we're not going to be able to invade China. They know that. They could invade to the west, which isn't a bad idea, or they can invade into Southeast Asia, which would be a treacherous due to the amount of forests that are here, and they can move down. But the thing is that this is already a threat, and the world would pretty much already respond to this if they were moving military around, specifically the Middle East, which would also pretty much be fighting each other at the same time. Although this kind of ended, this didn't. I just haven't been looking at this. So like this, like this is just pure chaos. Iran's already threatening to declare war over here, so their forces would pretty much be over here. So that's a good strat. They could just move into Iran, but all mountains. They could move into Afghanistan, but would you really want to go into Afghanistan? So yeah, that's kind of what they're trying to figure out. But if they go into Afghanistan, they can invade Central Asia, which is pretty weak. Meanwhile, Iran is quite strong. These three are off the table, though, for now. Specifically, this one, because there's no way they can get to Russia unless they invade all of Central Asia. And even then, Russia's kind of preoccupied with this right now, so they're pretty much preoccupied with this and this, so they probably wouldn't be doing anything. But an alliance is sure to form, and they know that if a war begins, they don't care. They're just going to invade it anyway. So yeah, they invade this little chunk over here, this little tail, and they just move troops throughout this entire border. Now, Raj has a strategy. They're just going to send out as many troops in as possible and hope for the best. So they do this, and they're able to actually do a lot of stuff. As India alone pretty much carries the population, so they're just sending troops, and over and over. We don't care about terrain, and Afghanistan falls. I don't care if you comment that it's unrealistic. I just won't reply because the amount of comments saying this is unrealistic, I've replied to, saying that it's not supposed to be unrealistic, but then so I've just stopped, Also, for people that want to know what software I use Paint.net, and I use OBS Studio on Steam for my recording software. So if you were wondering what I use, that's your answer. But yeah, please stop commenting that it's unrealistic. I know it is. It's supposed to be. It's supposed to just be fun. So if you want to be that guy, be it. But I just won't. I'm just gonna stop replying to comments that continuously say that's unrealistic because I know that. I'm pretty sure everyone knows that. But yeah, so now there's just this massive bulge now in this, and it looks very much different. They just kind of just took in this. But now they want to invade this guy. This guy is probably one of the weakest. Before the mountain parade, this is they kind of just have mountains here. Other than that, it's all go. So before they invade this, so they invade Tajikistan, which isn't the best move by them because at this point everyone knows that the Raj is aggressive and that coalitions will be formed on them soon. But the British Raj continuously sends more troops until it's really just the mountainous parts which they have a little bit trouble in. But eventually they're able to take out Tajikistan. Oh, fuck. Right, there we go. Now, the Raj is going to take a little bit of a cool, and let's see what coalitions form up. So first off, this yellow team forms up in Central Asia. Iran forms a pact, which really just includes these guys, actually. Which really just includes themselves. Like, so they're not really a pact. Southeast Asia forms a pact. Now, the only reason this was formed was because they're scared if the Raj decides to move troops into this area, they want to stop them. China is already safe, so they don't really need a pact, but they'll still intervene if these guys get attacked. So that's something. Indonesia is safe, like they don't really care. They're just in their own world. But the Raj decides to make some allies, alright? So they go to Indonesia, and they're like, hey, see this island of Borneo? It'll be all yours if you join our pact. You don't have to officially join it. You could just join it at some point. But unless you want to be attacked, when we completely destroy Southeast Asia, that's your choice. All we want you to do is go in, take Borneo, then you can leave the war. We don't really care. So Indonesia's obviously like, bet. So even though these guys are like, hey, please join our alliance, they're like, no, you already have China backing you. Are they? No, not at all. Yeah, it's kind of really the only two alliances that form. Iran is just not liked by anyone in this region. Like, this guy doesn't like him. These guys don't like him. Don't like them. Now, I don't know about Armenia. I don't really know these ties, but all I know is I don't think they like them right now. Azerbaijan doesn't like them. Turkey doesn't like them. Iraq doesn't like them. They fought like 7 wars. Kuwait doesn't like them. Saudi Arabia doesn't like them. Syria doesn't like them. Jordan doesn't like them. Israel definitely hates them. Lebanon, I don't know. Palestine, they don't. Specifically the Gaza region. Yemen loves them. They are literally backing the Houthis. But yeah, so they don't really. I mean, Russia like maybe likes them, but we're wasting too much time. Now, obviously, I don't think the Raj would want to go here. Just because there's not really a lot to gain here. Like, what are they gonna gain? So they don't go over that region. They decide to go over here because resources. And they already made a pact with for Borneo, so there's not really a point. Whoa! Oh, that's why. Ah, you can see that. I just noticed that too. That's fun. Alright. There we go. Yeah, this is something that'll pop up, by the way. There we go. Hooray. I could do it like that. Or I could do it like this. Whoa. Why is it doing that? Alright, so at this point, Raj troops are basically flooding into Thailand. Thailand really doesn't have the manpower to stop this. So for now, it's not a stalemate. It's just continuously. But then eventually when they get to Cambodia, it becomes a stalemate over here. But then they enter into Laos, and they're like just realizing the amount of jungles. Now, why is China not joining in? Well, that'll be for another time. Eventually, Malaysian troops are flooding in, and they decide to actually hold them off right here. Now, why are they holding them off? Well, there's a bunch of defenses, but they decide to continuously push them back to get to this little small area. Now, this small area is just small where they can hold, but then they decide to get cocky and they decide to push in here. Obviously, oh my god. Not obviously, they're only able to push them right here because they're gonna die. So this is like the straight line. Indonesia is thinking about joining. They're like, all right, yeah, it's either we join or we lose. So what do? They're joining. Now, why are they joining? I already said. Whoa. Whoa! Alright. But yeah, at this point, this Borneo is cooked. Malaysia doesn't have a lot of troops here because they're focused on Raj. They weren't really ready for this. Brunei is not going to be able to protect themselves from the Indonesian military, and Borneo pretty much falls. After this, they decide. That's Singapore. After this, they decide to make a landing in the rest of Malaysia, which quickly falls after they have to move troops down, and the Raj continues, and the Raj also makes a push, which they're surprised to see Indonesian troops here. At this point, it's pretty much over, but then China finally joins the war in order to stop the Raj. Now, this is inevitable. This was going to happen. But there's a lot of troops here. Like, I feel like you probably underestimate how many troops are in this region, because there's a lot. Now, China is obviously going to use Burma to an advantage, because this is like the only place where it isn't mountains, because this is all mountains except this area. So they're really trying. So they're pushing a bunch of troops here. The Raj, in this case, has to pull out troops, specifically out of Cambodia, because to stop this, which they're actually able to push it back a little bit. But now it's kind of just a stalemate. But China has a lot more troops, and they can definitely win the war of attrition. But it's just... But then Indonesian troops begin landing in the south of Vietnam to kind of just break the stalemate. They move their main focus is Cambodia and try to hook up again with the Raj. And they actually succeed in this. Now, this was really just a bunch of Indonesian troops. And they're able to do this with a success. But then, a bunch of their troops get cut off by an offensive successfully made by the Chinese army. And now it's just, So now they have to retreat out of... So a bunch of troops start retreating out of Vietnam. But the Chinese Navy's already in this area, so... It kind of just fails. Like, the Chinese Navy is just all over here. Eventually, one more push is made by the Raj. China obviously retaliates. And at this point, they rush this, like, weird city. I think that's a city. British are going to pretend that's a city. They capture it. And the rest of the war is basically just them trying to take it back. Now, China has really just one goal: to stop the Raj and maybe make it collapse. But they know for a fact they cannot gain land from this, because they joined in a defensive war to stop the Raj and protect this area. That's literally why they joined. No reason else. No other reason. Eventually, though, once the Raj is pretty much able to take this city back, it just becomes a massive stalemate. Like, the Raj is pushed them back even more, and that's just a stalemate for the rest of the war. This is the front lines. So let's make a time skip. So eventually, after like 5 years, they decide to, sit down, and they just decide, let's have peace talks about the war. Let's calm down. Have peace, because we can't have this amount of deaths going on forever. So these are the obvious winners of the war, and and these borders are really disgusting. So over here, you can see that Thailand kind of just exists here. Like, it's not really... They kind of just here. I guess this would kind of just, like, become an independent country. I don't know how that would last. Maybe it's just an exclave of Thailand. Speaking of Thailand, they got absolutely molested. I don't see Thailand living. They're probably going to collapse. The Raj got a lot of Thailand. They also got a little bit of Laos. Indonesia grew. They took the entirety of Borneo. They also pretty much just annexed all of Malaysia. They also took this little area. They're probably going to annex this little thing. Actually, let's just clear our eyes and let's just act like they own this in the first place. So, yeah. So yeah, this is where I'm going to end the video. Thank you guys for over 100 subscribers. I don't know what I would do without you guys. So make sure to just keep the support. I greatly appreciate it. I'm very sorry for not posting in like a really fucking long time. But yeah, so I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.